Joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, you know who it is. It is Mack Monday here on Pirate Radio. Coach Mack McCarthy, joining us following another great weekend of college football. Coach Mack, how you doing, sir?
I am good. I am good. College football was good again, and lots of news on the field, lots of news off the field. A lot of people going to be looking for coaches. A lot of coaches are going to be handed out a lot of money. So things are exciting right now.
Some really big openings across the college football landscape. We saw another one on Saturday with Florida. Who anybody else lose their job this weekend? Who are the firings?
Jay
Colorado
Norvell.
State, Colorado State,
Jay
yeah,
Norvell. Yep.
yeah.
So lost his job. And speaking of losing, top 10 teams losing Coach Mack. And seeing all the losses from Saturday, I feel like this used to be a bigger deal. I don't know, maybe in the 90s or something. But now with no real dominant teams, it feels like, and everybody's so close, when a top 10 team loses, it's not as huge of a deal. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's not as big a deal because you're not eliminated from the playoffs. So, and we
True.
used to be a two-team BCS championship. Then we got to the four-team playoff, and now that it's 12, it's not quite as earth-shattering, but still big news when a top 10 team loses, and still calls for rushing the field and fan bases getting excited.
Jared's Red Raiders lose their first game of the year.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the Sun Devils. They're a good team. Obviously not out of it. I still think the Red Raiders got a long season ahead of them. Can win the Big 12.
And man, what we saw Friday night, Coach Mack, we had Miami up there with Ohio State, Indiana's the best teams in the country, and they lose at
Yeah.
home to Louisville.
Yeah, everybody had kind of separated those three. Said those, they are standing out, and darn if you don't jump up and get beat. Miami Carson Beck, not Colbeck. Carson Beck reverted to his form from last year, and of course, all the naysayers they'll want to jump on there and say, "I told you so." But if you predict anybody is going to have a bad game, sooner or later you will be right.
Good win by Georgia Tech on the road at Duke, especially with that Miami loss, and now
Yeah.
the Yellow Jackets, along with Virginia, looking pretty good right now in the ACC. Also, I don't know, other standouts. I was talking to Mully on Saturday, and I just watched Vanderbilt and went out and told him about that at the Clark LeClaire Stadium, ECU baseball, doing a little fall ball. And he said, what's the bigger story? Brian Kelly failing to win that game in that spot, or Vanderbilt, being able to now week to week seemingly take care of business. And I feel like the Brian Kelly, can't win a big one at LSU is old news at this point. So I went on the Vandy side of it, Coach Mack. But I don't know, what stood out to you in that one for the Commodores?
Well, I think I must be too old because I remember Vanderbilt when Vanderbilt was what they always have been, and it's really hard to adjust. And I told you the other day, I said I couldn't believe that they were actually favored in the game, and not only were they favored, they backed it up and dominated the game. Really, they were in charge, and LSU's offense couldn't get going. They haven't gotten going all year, and they shredded their defense for a while too. And of course, they were missing some key people and all that. You got all kind of everybody's got excuses when they don't do well. But yeah, I think I'm leaning with you. I think the bigger story is Vanderbilt being legitimately good, playing and beating top 10 teams.
And maybe the biggest upset of the week, the Trent Dilfer-less UAB Blazers beating
Yes,
Memphis.
yes.
That's crazy.
I
Maybe the problem wasn't Trent Dilfer getting his players poached. Maybe the problem was Trent Dilfer, huh?
I was so surprised. Like I was just like, all right, yeah, UAB's a bad team, and then he's out, and it's like, okay, he was just that awful of a coach.
By the way, on that note, UCLA wins their third straight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Shout out
under the radar a little
Neuheisel.
bit there, and beat a good Maryland team too.
yeah,
Shout out interim head coach Neuheisel.
Yeah, everybody thinks he is the interim coach. He's not, but he's getting all the credit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Big dog Glenn Griffin here. I did not know that until I heard on Saturday. Chris Mortensen's son, the interim at UAB.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. That is
Didn't
very
know
cool.
didn't know little Mort got into the coaching biz rather than the news biz. Jarrett,
Just shout out Mort, man.
you gave a
Oh
finger
yeah,
rest.
rest in peace.
An
Point,
R.I.P.
yeah, point up.
for Chris Mortensen. Let's see what else. Last week, East Carolina Mac wins on Thursday night. Finally, we're done with the Thursday stuff.
Yeah, I like the uniforms. You know, it was a good scene and played well. Offense really did a good job.
Tulane survived against Army. That I still think there are some losses coming this week. You got USF and Memphis.
Yeah.
In Memphis, I think Memphis bounces back and wins which could give the Bulls a loss. So it's going to be some juggling here down the second half here in the American when it comes to teams losing a game or two.
That game made me so mad. I don't think Tulane deserved to win that game. It's just every break went their way.
They were down 7 with like 2 minutes left and won by 7.
Yeah.
In regulation. I don't know what the heck happened, but good for them. Let's see. Anything else stand out, Mac? Alabama.
Well, the Ole Miss game was a big deal. Obviously,
Awesome
has
game.
playoff implications.
Awesome game. And
Yeah.
what a weird game, too, that Georgia can't stop a nosebleed, but cannot be stopped offensively. So you talked about trying to, retrain your brain on what you see. Like the old stereotypes for these teams are done in 2025.
Yeah, Ole Miss scored on all those consecutive possessions and then didn't score the last three, and that ended up being the difference in the game. It was they had a great game plan, and like I talked about shredding before. They shredded the Georgia defense for most of the game, and that just doesn't happen. But it was very entertaining, and two teams playing at a very high level, and a good chess match between old staff mates over at Alabama.
Something else I wanted to bring up, Mac, I texted this to you. There is a team that we forget exists, and we don't see any of their games. Hawaii is bowl eligible.
Hawaii.
So there you go. They'll be in the Hawaii Bowl, I guess.
Tommy Chang.
That's right. Former gunslinger out there at quarterback. All right, Mac.
Can I hit on one thing, actually?
Yeah, please.
Friday night, nobody watched the end of this game but me, probably, but Cal versus Carolina was some of the worst football I've ever seen. Like Bill Belichick tried his damnedest to lose that game, but Cal just kept handing him every opportunity, and it got to the point I was hoping Carolina won. I hate Carolina, but it's like Cal is giving you this game in every opportunity, and that was just an awful game.
I did see the fumble.
Yeah, that was
A couple
funny.
of bad late nights out there on California and Stanford with FSU
Oh, my
again
God.
continuing to plummet.
Yeah, lucky for Florida State that was so late, so not as much as the world saw it, but that's pretty gross.
The Mike Norvell and even Luke Fickell, like, why aren't these guys out of a job right now? It's not like the NFL where it's like, all right, we'll just continue to lose, try to get a good draft spot.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. 1-11 in the last 12 conference games for Mike Norvell. You get blanked twice in a row at Wisconsin. Like, that's just unbelievable. They still have jobs.
And I absolutely love it to see, Clemson and Florida State losing in the ACC. I like the topsy-turvy nature of it. And Coach Mack, I said last week, and I think that Bailey and Meador just hate everything about the NIL, so they can't find any positive to it or portal. But I think the NIL and portal can make rooting for your team personally, you can look at it as a negative, but overall, like generally speaking, college football, it makes the weeks and games more entertaining to me because of, again, what we knew 5 years ago doesn't exist anymore almost. And everything is just so year to year and parity, and anybody can beat anybody, and it makes it a lot of fun.
It does seem more chaotic, and
That's a good word.
Yeah, there are lots of surprises and big like you turnarounds not only in games but in seasons. How can Florida State go from 13-0 to winning 2 games and beating Alabama, and then they haven't won a league game in 2 calendar years.
God.
Incredible. Incredible. All right. All right, real quick, looking back at last week's picks, I was on it in college football, 4-1. And I should have gone BYU, which was going to be my original dog of the day.
Yeah.
They ended up winning. My upset pick of the week, Georgia Tech and Duke, and Georgia Tech won. I had a lot of good dogs last week. Ole Miss really made me angry because they should have won. But I went 4-1. Jarrett 3-2. Coach Mack 2-3 because he still does not want to believe in Vanderbilt. And thought USC could go to Notre Dame and win.
I did.
Come on,
I did.
Mac.
The odds makers were way right, and I was way wrong.
All right, so this week, kind of a free-for-all. I'm going to just throw out, go down the slate and throw out a bunch of games, and we'll pick them. So I don't know how many we're going to end up with, but there's a lot of good games with close spreads. Let's start with the American and go USF and Memphis. And again, this could be dog of the day material for me. I love a Memphis bounce back this week. They're 3.5-point dogs at home against USF. I'll take the Tigers.
I'm going on USF. I think that early roll was for real, and I think they'll be fine.
I want to back you with the Memphis bounce back so bad, but I love everything they got going on down there in Tampa, so I'm going with the Bulls.
Mac, I want to take Ole Miss again, but they're on the road again, and they're against the top 15 team again, and they are underdogs again to Oklahoma this time. Oklahoma is -4.5, but man, I love the way Ole Miss played for 53 minutes of that game or whatever. So I'm gonna give them one more shot. Give me Ole Miss on the road on Saturday.
I'm going to go with you. I just, I can't get with Venables. He just, the old, pull back coach, push back coach, hold back coach thing. I can't go for that.
All right.
I'm going Ole Miss as well.
Wow. All right. Does Mac believe in Vanderbilt now? They're 2.5-point favorites again, at home again, this time against Missouri.
No. Get off my lawn.
All right.
Oh, man, I want to take Missouri. I'll go Missouri.
Pavia is so –
He's so good.
he's so good. And look, LSU – it was a great game of answers. Vandy kind of got up, so then LSU would answer, and Vandy would go right back down and score, and it was a good back and forth for a while there. I think they do it again. I'm taking Vandy at home.
I'm going to regret that one so bad, but I feel like
that's why
Missouri.
Clip's winning this thing, Jared.
Yeah, well, and I'm just an idiot when it comes to college football.
No regrets. Man, how about BYU? That was a good win the other night against Utah. And Bear Bachmeier getting it done late with a touchdown run. They are underdogs at Iowa State.
Give me BYU. Come on.
So Iowa State's lost 2 in a row. Did they play last week, Mac? Do you know?
I don't think
remember
so.
seeing them.
They did
I don't
not.
think so.
Yeah, they lost 2 in a row since starting 5-0, 6-0, whatever they were. Yeah, I kind of like the Cyclones at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Cyclones at home. I was fighting Matt Campbell's.
I hope BYU keeps it going, man. I like Bachmeier and some of their players. It was cool seeing them live, but I think it comes to an end. Mac, dog of the day material here. Mississippi State at home against Texas.
Wow. Texas wasn't very good last week in Kentucky, were they?
No. By the way, we get a lot of calls on the fifth quarter about 3rd, 4th, and 1. Oh, Jarrett's a big get under center and go run the ball in the middle of the line. Mark Stoops says, okay, Jarrett and all you tough guys out there, we're going to do that twice in a row and get stuffed twice in a row and lose the game in overtime.
My thing is more so inside the 1. Like going for a touchdown. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. Sorry.
Right on the goal line.
All right. Well, I'm still right. They just suck.
That could be true as well. But there's a reason teams don't do that, and it's because there's 1,500 pounds of beef right there you're trying to run into. And there's other ways to get in the end zone. But hey, look, if you like that kind of ball, 2-5 Kentucky is your team.
All right. Wildcats.
Because damn if they didn't go right up the center's butt twice in a row for nothing. All right. Sorry, Mac.
No, you're good.
Not an official pick, but I'm taking Mississippi State.
I like it.
For the upset?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be my upset pick. LSU at home against A&M. Now Texas A&M is top 3. There is time for them to lose one.
I haven't watched a lot of Texas A&M. Are they that good?
What do you think, Mac?
Pretty darn good. Really good defensively until the other day when Petrino got his bunch going. But and Green is playing great on offense. Marcel Reed, I get them mixed up. Saw the highlights of both of them in the same game last week. But Texas A&M is for real, and Elko has done a great job.
All right, I'm going to be Mack McCarthy and say night game, Baton Rouge. They always win that one. Give me LSU. Get off my lawn. Jarrett.
I'll take LSU. Every head coach that I've said Penn State should go after has lost so far, except for Mike Elko, so it's going to come to an end.
Man,
Wow.
I wish I'd have talked about this one more. Another game I was on. Did you remember me saying Minnesota?
Yeah.
Like that. Nebraska 7.5 at Minnesota Friday night was an insane line. And Minnesota won it outright. And Matt Rule had his Penn State draws on, coaching on the sideline in that game. All right, there are your college football picks for another fun week coming up on this Saturday. All right, guys, what's going on in NASCAR?
Chase Briscoe stamped his ticket to the Final Four yesterday in Talladega.
Who else is
Very
going to be in
exciting.
that?
Denny Hamlin won last week, so it's them two right now, and we got one more race until the cut.
I'll
Wait.
cover it for Pirate Radio. I'll be there in person.
Martinsville, right?
So there's
Martinsville, along with
two-
Brian Meador.
There's 2 winners.
Yep.
We got to get to 4.
Yeah. One guy will go in off points if
There you go.
you'll most likely have a winner. I think Chase Elliott wins this weekend and solidifies his spot in the Final Four.
And you'll be there, Mac?
I'll be there.
You're being very sporty because you are going to catch some hoops practice today, right?
Some hoops. Got a hoops game on Friday. A little football. A little hoops on Saturday. A little racing on Sunday.
Very cool.
Sounds
Very
like a
cool.
great weekend.
Have you, I don't know, it's always the usual suspects, Mac. Anybody, and I think you mentioned Virginia in this. We've talked about NC State a little bit. Anybody else in the big improvement category for college basketball this upcoming season come to mind for you?
Well, Louisville really jumped up there. They even made a big step last year, but they've made an even bigger step this year. But probably NC State among the folks that just weren't very good a year ago, but are going to be real good this time.
Yeah.
I think Wake Forest is going to be a top contender in the ACC.
Mac, apparently they beat ECU by 30 in a scrimmage.
ECU Forbes got a good group. He's hit the portal hard, and they've ponied up some money over there, and he's a really good coach.
Who would y'all play against in those super secret scrimmages when you were the coach here, Mac?
Oh gosh, we played Virginia once. We played we played Furman once. Can't even remember who else we played.
Why are they secret?
Well, they used to be secret because they weren't public at all, and they weren't supposed to be. No one was supposed to be allowed to see them and that kind of thing. And you could also go all day. You could have multiple scrimmages if you wanted to. You could go as long as you wanted and that kind of thing. And that kind of got phased out. And now most of them are actually exhibitions where you can even let the public. And like I'm doing the one Friday, Villanova and Virginia, and it's actually televised. And Virginia just played one at Vanderbilt last week. And Villanova actually played one against VCU on Saturday. So it's completely changed. I think that'll get more and more liberal too. I think you'll see maybe even more than 2 going forward.
And we can watch and listen to Coach Mac this Friday where?
ESPN Plus.
All right, we'll be. I'm pumped to hear Mack McCarthy on my TV coming up.
Should be a
this
good
Friday.
call.
Mac, thanks for joining us, man. Have fun calling that, and have fun watching some cars go around the track. And we'll talk more football with you next week.
I'll send you pictures. Thanks, guys.